Ukraine says all women, children and the elderly have now been evacuated from Azovstal steel plant in the city of Mariupol. And a show of support. America's First Lady arrives in Slovakia ahead of a visit to the border with Ukraine.
Fears are growing for the 2,000 Ukrainian soldiers who are thought to be under siege in the steelworks in Mariupol following the evacuation of the last civilians from the site.
It comes as the UK government announced an extra £1.3 billion in military support to Ukraine over the next year. Let's get the latest from our correspondent James Waterhouse, who's in Kiev for us this morning. How are things looking in Mariupol?
It is a good thing that the civilians have been evacuated. We had both Russia and Ukraine saying the remaining women, elderly people and children have made it out. However, as you say, there are still 2,000 people still inside. They're made up of emergency teams, wounded soldiers, militia, police officers, people who represent the last stand in Mariupol, a city which has effectively been flattened throughout the 74 days of this conflict. Russia has previously called for those troops to surrender, but President Zelensky says diplomatic efforts are continuing to get them out. We are seeing more fighting in the east overnight. The governor of Luhansk says a bomb was dropped on a school where people were sheltering. 60 people are missing, we're told. And elsewhere, where the Russians were once trying to launch a much fuller scale invasion, such as here in the Kiev region, we've been seeing for ourselves how this country is stubbornly trying to rebuild.
This is more than a journey. It's a capital city trying to reconnect with communities the Russians tried to take.
We are now crossing on the bridge.
This crossing was damaged in the invasion, leaving people trapped by the Irpin River and exposed to invading troops and their mortars. So this is the new route connecting Kiev with the town of Irpin, and if we look over here, you can see the old damaged bridge. It's significant for the communities that live here that this connection is once again restored and people can try and get on with their lives. It's only been a month since the Russians pulled back, but the authorities here have almost been fixated on restoring structure, normality, even with the country still very much under attack.
It's very important because it's a very strong signal that the normal life back to the our city, our region, which destroyed by this terrible war.
And there's no better reminder of that threat than Borodyanka. Not many humans live here now. There are reminders of day-to-day life and happier times, previous lives suspended. It's hoped this restored train line will inject some of the colour Borodyanka has lost.
It is really important to repair the connection and give people the opportunity to use our transport and to restore what we lost in the past 2 months.
With railways increasingly being targeted by the Russians, this isn't just a move to recovery, but an act of defiance.
Borodyanka was one of the most heavily shelled locations at the start of this conflict. Mariupol in the southeast will be worse. We cannot rule out what is happening there isn't going to be happening elsewhere. Today, the boss of the CIA says he expects Vladimir Putin to double down on his efforts in this invasion to achieve his goals. But as I talk to you now, those goals still are not clear. Yes, this conflict has shifted eastwards, but is Vladimir Putin going to try and consolidate what he's taken? Is he going to try and ramp things up again? No one really, once again, knows. But Ukraine, in the meantime, will try and rebuild. It will fortify its defences with support from the West. And peace, nevertheless, is a long way off.